There's an old saying that I love. It goes, if you don't learn to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. And it took me a while to realize how powerful that was. And really, it's quite simple. If you just think about how much money you make in a month and how many more years you're going to live, you can very easily see what is really, at your current trajectory, the maximum amount of money that you could ever make in your life. Then just take your current trajectory of spending and subtract that, and you'll see how little there is left. So I'm 40 years old, right? So that means if I'm going to live another 40 years, let's say I stop working at 65. That's another 25 years worth of income. So if I made £3,000 for the next 25 years, we're looking at a total of £900,000, my max total income that I could bring in by just swapping my time for money. Working my 9 to 5, making my £3,000 a month, and like I said, nothing goes wrong. No, I don't lose my job at all for the next 25 years. Now, if I spend £2,000 a month and I live another 40 years, that still means my spending continues for 40 years, but my income will only continue for 25 years. So my spending at £2,000 a month is already £960,000. So I'm basically going to be 60,000 short for my final 40 years. So that means I only have 37 and a half years worth of money available. So I better not even live those 40 years, hopefully, or I'm going to really struggle. And remember, that's if everything goes perfectly and I manage to keep my income consistent at that 3,000 level and keep my expenditure at that 2,000 level. So I can manage to save that 1,000 every single month for the next 40 years. Even then, it's just not enough. Now, this isn't factoring in pensions, but pensions aren't much. And also, it's better to discount that and make sure that financially you're okay. And whatever pension, if there is a pension by the time I get to 65, which there might not be, there's no guarantee, then that's just a bonus, use that as coffee money. At least you can see that it's very difficult to make money by just trading your time for money, which unfortunately is what maybe 90% of the world do. You go to work, you make your money, and then you try to save that 1,000 a month or whatever it is that you try to save for your old age. But that's just not going to suffice. That will not get you anywhere. And it also means that you are guaranteed to have to work until the last moment, till 65 years of age, or maybe even longer. What if they increase the retirement age by then to 70, right? Then I'll have to work an extra 5 years. Plus, I don't want to retire at 70 or 65. What am I going to do? That's not the time to go and enjoy life and travel the world. I thought about this a few years ago and I did the math and I realized that it's just not enough to survive. It's just never going to happen, and I don't plan on working another 40 years. I can't think of anything worse. So I did some research and I realized, well, how do rich people do it? Well, they invest, but I didn't understand investing. I didn't know how to invest. It seems like gambling. It seems scary, but I feel like that's what they want you to think. They want you to be scared of investing. They want to make it sound risky. But the reality is that investing is very, very simple. It's not easy, but it's very simple. So instead of just saving your £1,000 a month for those 25 years of remaining work, which will leave you with £300,000 in cash sitting in the bank, right? Doing nothing. That number will just remain at 300,000, and then you'll slowly use it to fund your retirement until you die. Instead of saving that money, you invested that money, right? Look at the difference. So if you'd invested that money into something quite simple as like the S&P 500, which is the top 500 companies in all of America, so the risk is much lower than picking individual stocks. Even then, at just a 7% return per year, which isn't much, it's fairly standard, that 300,000 that you would have saved in cash would now have grown by an extra 510,000 to 810,000. So instead of me being stuck to my 2,000 a month budget, which I would have had to do with the cash that I'd saved, if we still assume I'm going to die at 80, for those extra 15 years, I now have, my budget can go up from £2,000 a month spending to £4,500 a month spending. That's over double, guys. That means for 15 years, I can spend £4,500 and slowly run out of money by my 80th birthday, and then hopefully by then. And that's the power of investing. A lot of that money would have been made while you were sleeping, without you having to go to work. It's like a plant It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Sometimes it gets a bit smaller, then it gets bigger, then it gets smaller, then it gets bigger. But the long-term trajectory, this plant just keeps growing. I remember making £40 a day when I used to work in Selfridges, just untangling hangers. For 8 hours a day, they would put me in a wardrobe and I just have to like untangle hangers. I remember the first time that I woke up one morning, checked my investing account, and I'd made £50 while I was sleeping. I couldn't believe it. I thought, oh my God, that used to be 8 hours of my day, just untangling hangers, and now I just went to sleep and I woke up and I'm £50 richer. And then the first time that I made £100 while I was sleeping, that just completely blew my mind. I thought, £100 for sleeping, doing nothing. Just the money grew. And it made me really angry because it made me think, why does nobody tell us about this stuff when we're younger? Because, like I say, investing is not complicated at all. You just need time. Time in the market. Like, the longer you're there, the more it compounds. It's a slow process. It's like a plant growing, right? That plant is going to grow. It just needs time. You can't force that plant to grow quicker. It will not. It doesn't do it. The same with investing. It will grow. It just needs the time. The longer it's there, the more it compounds. Imagine if I'd started this when I was 17, when I was 21, even when I was 30. But nobody told me about any of this stuff. I had no idea. You are left to figure things out for yourself in life. And luckily, we have YouTube. Without YouTube, I wouldn't know any of this stuff. Fortunately, I learned about it maybe about 5 years ago. I started investing. It takes time to kind of understand investing. You have to understand the philosophy. You have to understand the why you are investing, why you are investing in what you are investing, why you buy the companies you do, how much your risk tolerance is, what is your goal at the end of this. Ever since I started it, number one, it's really changed my opinion on the things that I buy. I just refuse to spend money on things that don't give me a return. And number two, it really has moved my awareness thinking about the things that I do buy. Which brands am I giving my money to? Why am I giving my money to these brands? And if I am giving my money to them, that must mean that I think they are valuable. If I think a brand or a company is valuable, then I should invest in it. And especially with the amount of traveling that I've done in the last 10 years and living abroad in so many different countries, it's been a bit of a cheat code because I've got to see not only the brands and companies from the UK or from Europe that I understand, that I grew up with, but coming to Southeast Asia, in some ways it's like you've gone back in time. So, for instance, in the UK, we saw how Uber started and we weren't sure how it was going to do. It seemed like a gimmicky thing. Then it just exploded and then they added food services and all this kind of stuff and it just became this huge multinational business. Well, in Asia, there are also other companies just following the same path. For instance, I realized that when I live in Southeast Asia, the majority of my money goes to Grab, this app, which is very similar to Uber, just copying the Uber style, right? But the price of Grab is like how Uber was right at the beginning, where nobody knew if it was going to succeed or not. So for me, personally, this is not financial advice at all, just telling you my opinions of what I do. I thought this is a fantastic opportunity for me to invest in Grab. It's like investing in Uber back when it was just a startup. And, I can see the future. I can see that people are going to adopt Grab and Grab is going to grow into more than just taxis. It will do food deliveries and it will become like a financial bank and it will continue and continue and continue. And that's the beautiful thing because, before the big banks from Europe and America, Grab isn't probably on their radar yet, it's just too small of a business. But once it grows and then they start to invest in it, that's when the stock price goes crazy and that's when you make all your money. And it just takes one company that you invest in to 10x. Think of those people that bought Bitcoin when it was like £1. That £1 Bitcoin gets to 100,000. That's 100,000 pounds they made from that £1 investment. And they probably didn't buy £1. They probably bought £10 or £50 or £100. So you see that one investment holding for 10 years, for 20 years, can change your whole life and can be more valuable than those 20 years of going to work every single day and giving all your energy, all your time to the company. So yeah, I hope I can just help you to understand that there are many ways to live this life. We don't just have to live the way that we've been told to live. We don't just have to make money the way that we've been told to make money. Learn to observe the world. Watch the rich. What do they do? Go to a coffee shop in the middle of the afternoon and see who's sitting there, enjoying their life. Why aren't they at work? Ask them. Ask them, how come you don't have to be at work? What do you do? How did you get to this stage where you can just chill? Why is the guy at 1 p.m. in the gym while everyone's working in an office? Ask him, what did you do that you can come to the gym at any time you want? Find the people that live the lifestyle that you want, and you'll be surprised. A lot of them will help you and will tell you their secrets. Anyway, that's enough for today, guys. As always, don't wait to live. Go, live, enjoy. Everybody dies, but not everybody lives.